On today's show, let's have some fun on a Friday. We're playing Whiteboard Friday, answering questions. Which team in the NBA should blow it up? Which team in the NBA may make a move at the trade deadline that might affect the Mavericks? And which team do you want and not want in a playoff series this year? We'll answer all that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
The Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good!
And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every single day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube, where you can subscribe and watch us play some whiteboard games today on the show. And joining me, as always, my co-host, contributor, writer at Mavs.com, the whiteboard white boy. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
I was about to take 32 for us on that cold open.
Just outed me in front of the entire. It's not like we've been doing this for 6 years, and it took me 4 takes just to get that intro.
But here we are.
The snow threw me off today, is what happened.
It was a good snow day. I mean, and assuming a lot of you had power, I did try to look into it. I feel like a majority of people had power. Still,
I didn't hear from anybody that didn't. So
yeah, so when you have power, it's a good snow day.
Yeah, right.
And a fun snow day. Got out.
It's warm when you come home. That's good.
Yeah, got outside and played with the kids today a little bit. But all-star Luka Doncic is an all-star again, third time. It's his 4th year in the league.
We'll give him the applause. Let's go.
This guy,
still a big deal.
We could do a whole thing about his accolades at where he's at his age. It's just dumb. It's dumb in a good way. This is his 3rd All-Star game in his 4th season. We know he's been, he's first team All-NBA. That achievement right there is the biggest thing of everything, that you've been first team All-NBA for 2 seasons, and it's just insane. Luka is he's already on track to have this resume that's going to be insane individually. He's going to have the all-time stats. He's going to have all these all-stars and All-NBAs and all that. The only thing that's going to separate Luka and put Luka into that next category is the thing that matters the most, right? It's rings, and he's going to have all the other stuff.
According to, so Callie Kaplan looked this up. She tweeted out, Luka Doncic is the 7th player in NBA history to earn 3 All-Star berths before his 23rd birthday. Can you name all of them, Isaac Harris?
I actually saw the list today.
You saw the list. Okay. Yeah. You can just pretend to guess. Ready? There's 6 players.
And?
God. How many times?
Do you still want me to guess?
I said pretend to guess. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, Isaiah Thomas, the Pistons one.
The good one.
Kyrie Irving, and Anthony Davis, who is not an all-star this year. Neither of those guys are all-stars this year. So Luka, an incredibly good company. The other players joining Luka Doncic are Devin Booker, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, and Karl Anthony Towns in the West. In the East, Jimmy Butler, Darius Garland, James Harden, Zach LaVine, Chris Middleton, Jason Tatum, Fred VanVleet. A kind of weird group of all-stars this year. There's a bunch of random players out, and so a bunch of guys got in. But it seems like that's happening year over year now, the last couple of years. But any snubs that stood out to you? I mean, we talked about Porzingis' path to an all-star about a month and a half ago, and he's missed too many games and all that. The Mavericks are not in a good enough place record-wise for him to even get snub consideration at this point, I don't think. But anybody stand out to you as a snub?
No, I mean, I think in the West, as soon as Wiggins was announced as a starter, I think it pretty much locked in the whole reserves, right? I mean,
yeah, it did.
DeJounte Murray, it's Draymond, the broadcast, when they announced it, Draymond was on that, that live broadcast there. And, he said that he wasn't going to play in the game. Adam Silver's going to have to name a replacement. I'm here to lead the riot if AD gets picked over DeJounte Murray.
This is the ultimate Mavericks fan. Like, okay, would you rather have the Laker or the Spur, right?
No, give me the Spur.
I know for you. We all understand for you and where you stand with this.
If y'all didn't know, I hate the Lakers.
I think most other Mavericks fans would probably stick with you too. But let us know who would you rather have, Anthony Davis or DeJounte Murray, and as a replacement for Draymond Green. And I'm sure other players are gonna have to have replacements for this as well. And we'll see how far down the list we get. But I think those two guys are the biggest ones to stand out as snubs. The other ones mentioned, like SGA, Jaren Jackson, Jared Allen.
Yeah, in the East, I mean,
LaMelo.
I would love to see LaMelo in this game. The Bucks are good, so I mean, I guess Middleton's
already in, but Drew Holiday could be the third one.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, I would have had Jared Allen in maybe over Middleton or LaMelo in that, but yeah.
Oh, well. So that's the All-Star group. So that is where it stands, and we'll see what happens with Luka and how seriously he takes this All-Star game, because we have not seen that in the past.
I will say it's in Cleveland. We know the Slovenia population
good call.
in Cleveland, so that should be a fun one.
I talked to Chris Manning, our Locked On Cavs host, the other day, and we were talking about that, how there's so many Slovenians in Cleveland, and how from the time that LeBron left to this season when the Cavs are good again, the games Luka played in Cleveland were the loudest that arena ever got, no matter what happened, like at any point. And so I think that's really going to matter, and I think it's going to matter to Luka. So this year, that's a good point. He may probably show out a little bit more in this All-Star game than years past.
Yeah, so he could do that. There was, the Mavs released a press release today, throwing some different stats and stuff in there. But the last paragraph, I didn't know this. This could be like public knowledge as far as some celebrations and stuff for All-Star Weekend. But the 75th anniversary team is going to be honored at All-Star Weekend, and Dirk's going to be there. Obviously, Jason Kidd plans on being there, and I'm just really excited for that because I always love seeing the pictures and looking back at the 50th team. Everybody had their cool jackets, and just seeing everybody represented on the courts. Old players, new players. So if they replicate that, I think that's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, I'd be really excited to see all that together. So there you go. That's the All-Star field. Let's start to play our game today. Our game is Whiteboard, where we ask a question and we answer it on the whiteboard. And you guys listening on the podcast, we will explain everything that we write and laugh hysterically when we draw something dumb. And then on YouTube, you guys can see us all here. Let's start with it. The team that should blow it up in the NBA is who? 3, 2, 1. Ooh. Isaac went with the Clippers. I'm going with the Blazers or Wizards. I'll throw Wizards in there a little bit. But tell me, break down the Clippers version. Is it Paul George and Kawhi related, or outside of those two guys?
I think, yeah. I mean, I guess if we want to define what blow it up means, it could be like all the bigger pieces too. But for me, if I'm the Clippers, I think everybody outside of Paul George and Kawhi, I'm calling around the league saying, all right, who wants these guys? Draft picks, younger players, whatever it is. So that's why I'm looking at Reggie Jackson. I'm seeing if I can get off the contract of Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, which I saw a report, yesterday that they are at least listening to some of these things with Nick Batum, some of the vets on the roster. But, obviously Luke Kennard, makes a, good little chunk of change on that extension and stuff. But if I'm the Clippers, I'm blowing it up outside of those two guys. I'm saying Paul George, don't come back for the rest of the year. Kawhi is going to be out the rest of the year. Let's take our year off. Let's trade off some pieces and reset for next season.
See, I think they're ready-made when they come back. I mean, this Clippers team has actually played pretty well. You look at the difference between the Clippers and the Lakers, and the Lakers have had some of their stars, and the Clippers do not. And the Clippers have played way better at times. And so you look at that cast, and you say, okay, well, let's just build this cast around a little bit more, so when those guys do come back, we're just fine. So that's a team I do not see blowing it up at all, especially since their window is so small with those two guys. The Blazers, however, they have tried and tried and tried again. And this year was supposed to be the year. I was talking to our Locked On Blazers host, Mike Richmond, the other day, and he said, this team should have won 44 games. There's no way this team shouldn't have won 44 games, but they can't stay on the court. They just can't stay together at all. They have all these pieces like Dame and CJ, and think about their starting lineup. The Mavs would take any single player in that starting lineup and put it in their starting lineup. Dame, CJ, Covington, Larry Nance Jr., and Nurkic, right? Like maybe Nurkic for Porzingis is not the one that you would pick because you probably wouldn't play those two guys together. But like any of those players, the Mavs would take. And so the Blazers is my team that they're definitely gonna make a move. I'm not sure how big of a move they're gonna make, but they will make some kind of move. So that's yeah.
Well, I was reading an article with the Blazers GM, and they were just talking about the team and how he put it out there. He's like, hey, we can't stomach a full rebuild, like to go that far back. But he's asked about
them and Indiana are like the same.
I think Indiana is probably closer to that than them. But he was asked about Dame's like rehab and stuff, and they don't even have a timetable. So for me, it feels like this season, hey, and he said this has been a lingering issue for like years for Dame. It feels like they just like went to him and said, hey, bro, we're gonna suck this year. If now's the time to get this surgery, get it, just take the year. And we'll see. But I don't know what they do at the deadline. Do they ship off CJ and really blow it up, or do they try to trade off some of the, Nurkic, Covington expiring contracts, Norman Powell?
And well, Nasir Little's out, but they do have like the Simons, Nasir Little. Like they have some of these younger guys that they could package with some, some picks and stuff to go get somebody. But it doesn't seem like they're going to do that this year. All right, coming up, we got some more. Which team should stand pat at the trade deadline? Which is the team that comes out and surprises everybody? We'll talk about those two teams. But before we do, let me tell you about Bet Online. Bet Online is your place to go check out the latest lines and odds all over sports. They have NFL right now. They have so many football lines, props, odds, things that you can go and put some money down on, right down to the Super Bowl. You can go check out all the game props. They have stuff like how many fighter jets are going to fly or do the flyover before the game. 4 is on there. I think 5 was the leader in the clubhouse if you wanted to go bet on that. BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, news, and everything this season. It's not just football. BetOnline has up-to-the-mid odds on pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, along with real live updates of current games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the new amazing offers available for the 2022 season. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. All right, Isaac Harris, let's keep playing our game of Whiteboard where we answer questions around the NBA, hot button issues.
The Guardian is pissed about this game.
I just got that. The team that should stand pat in the NBA. The trade deadline's coming up. It's next week. The team that should stand pat, and not do anything is who? I'm
going Phoenix.
I just drew a sun. I just drew a sun too. Yeah, the Suns, man.
I think that's and I feel like some people could listen to that and be like, all right, well, come on, you just said the best team in the league. And I don't think that's always the case, right? Like, you look across. I think the Suns, I don't think they have hardly any holes at all. Like if I'm the Suns, even more than the Warriors, I'm the Suns looking at it and saying, all right, like I'm cool with my team. Like Utah, they need to make a move. Like, I mean, even like Memphis has the most, like, they're so fun right now because they're so confident and they're playing so well. Like it's hard, not to, root for those guys. I guess if you're LeBron, and LeBron and Lakers, that whole Desmond Bain thing, funny. Did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed Desmond Bain.
But no, I think it's the Suns. I think they're the best team, top to bottom in the league. Yeah, I think when you go to the East, I mean, I feel like every team in the East up top can make some type of move. Like even Milwaukee with the bench,
they need a big. They need another big. It's Brooklyn. It's Giannis and Portis right now. Brooklyn the other night, Kyrie and Harden combined for 18 points in a loss. James Johnson had 18 points off the bench. You guys remember James Johnson? Like, do you remember James Johnson?
Yes. Oh, I do.
He scored
Wes
more than Kyrie.
Had like
no. Yeah, I think it's the Suns too that they don't need to make a move. They even have like interesting backups. Like their backup center position is probably their weakest spot, and they still have all these interesting guys they've brought in. And they had Bismack Biyombo be good for them. They had Jalen Smith have that little run. They had Frank Kaminsky have a little run. It just seems like anybody that jumps into whatever spot there, it's just so well built at this point that like what would they do? You don't really want to even mess up continuity at that point.
Yeah. No, it's the Suns. I think it's pretty clear. I could hear the case for the Warriors, but I think those are literally the only two teams that I'm like, hey, I'm not calling anybody right now.
The team at the trade deadline that will surprise everyone. The team that will make
this is a prediction one
prediction about the trade deadline. Team that will make some kind of move that will surprise everybody. Is 3, 2, 1. Ooh, Philly. What's the surprise? And I put Atlanta. What's the team that? What's the Philly move or the non-move that would surprise everybody?
I think they moved Ben Simmons. I said this on yesterday's pod.
I feel like that's a surprise now. Like we've come all the way full circle that, okay, they're definitely going to move Simmons. And then we were like, okay, they're not going to move Ben Simmons. And now we're back to, it would be surprised if they did move him.
I feel like most national people right now are like, no, they're not going to trade him. They're going to hold out for the Harden stuff, like all of that. And once again, I'm probably going to be wrong, past the deadline. But I just feel like going into Thursday, Morey's going to sit back and say, Embiid's having this insane season. We're already pretty dang good. We're close to the 1 seed. And they're going to get I think they're going to get a really good offer, a couple of really good offers, near the ending buzzer there.
So many buyers this year.
Yeah, whether it's Sacramento, whoever it is. And they're going to look at it and say, dang, a couple of those pieces and a draft, a couple of draft picks or something like that. Like, let's do this. Let's go all in. We don't want to waste an Embiid year and all of that. So I think they trade him, and I think it'll surprise people.
I think the Hawks may make a Ben Simmons type move, right? I think they may make that move. Don't forget the Cam Reddish trade that they made to the Knicks is a table-setting move. That is a move where they bring back a first-round pick because they've been shopping Cam Reddish for like almost 2 years and trying to figure out where to send him. And nobody wanted him except for the Knicks for a pick, and so they said, well, we can sell another first round pick better than we can sell this guy Cam Reddish that we drafted. That was supposed to make the Luka Doncic trade, completely worth it for them. But that's a table setting move that I think they're prone to make another one. They've got a bunch of dudes. They had some ups and downs this year. They're 8-2 in their last 10. So they've had an upstretch. They've had a stretch where they've been up recently. But they're still like an under 500 team. They just made it back into the play-in. I mean, they're still really disappointed with themselves compared to where they were last year. So I think a big move is coming for them.
And they come to town on Sunday, against the Mavs. And, I guess Philly, you guess Atlanta. Philly's, in town tonight in Dallas.
We had them on the brain, I guess. We were just talking about the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, this is, Dallas, we know, has lost 2 games in a row. They don't need to lose 2 more games and be on this on a 4-game losing streak. But both these teams are playing pretty well. For Atlanta, does their recent streak change anything with John Collins? That's something I'm watching. Does what happens with John Collins now? Where's his value? Is Dallas still interested in John Collins, and how that whole thing works? We'll see.
Did you see that fake trade the other day that I think Mavs FFL tweeted out? That was was like ESPN made like a fake trade about John Collins. That was the Mavs sending like Dorian. It was Dorian, Maxey Bullock, and 2 first round picks for John Collins.
Ooh, 2 firsts?
I know for John.
I don't know about that. I did hear somebody on the Ringer, might have been Bill and somebody else, talk about a 3-way trade. That I'm like, that's actually not that. With Boston, Atlanta, and Dallas.
Do you remember the parameters?
Those parameters basically Marcus Smart to Atlanta, John Collins to Dallas, Brunson, another piece to Boston, and just as like kind of the foundation of it. And I kind of understand all sides on that point, but
I'm so wary of the Brunson for like a John Collins or a guy that doesn't create with the ball in his hands, because the Mavs are already like begging for somebody else to create, and they don't need to get rid of the guy that they have for a guy that doesn't, right?
That's why, we've seen a couple of different places now. I've seen a recent, Bleacher Report article. I feel like it was another place too that talked about Detroit's interest in Jalen Brunson. And man, it's just hard to, look at Detroit and Dallas just straight up and say, okay, well, if Detroit really wanted to get Brunson, what are you getting back if you're Dallas? It has to center around Jeremy Grant. If that's the outside of Jeremy Grant, I don't know what you're really giving up Brunson for, because like I love Sadiq Bey, but I'm not giving up Brunson for Sadiq Bey. Like Killian Hayes, what is Killian Hayes right now? So like that's the only thing with Detroit, but we'll see. Also, go read. Jalen Brunson just recently did a one-on-one interview, kind of about a different, few different things. I want to say it's Bleacher Report. I think it's what it is. I think I texted to you today, but he answered a few things just about the upcoming offseason, being a free agent. He's excited for it, and just a few different things. I thought there were a few quotes in there that were, worth reading.
So there you go. All right, let's talk coming up. The team that is panicking right now, that may make a panic type move, and the team from the Mavs angle that you absolutely don't want to make a move and would want to see and would not want to see in a playoff series. Talk about all that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Built Bar. Built Bar is a protein bar that works in all weathers. It works in snow because you can freeze them, and they're delicious when you freeze them. They're delicious when they're cold. They're delicious when they're warm, when it heats up in a couple days, when it gets back to like 80 degrees somehow, and we all forget that it snowed a couple days ago. You can get all these bars, and they work in any kind of weather. Go check it out. Coconut Brownie Chunk is the best bar that I've maybe ever had. 150 grams of 150 calories. I don't think it's grams of calories. I don't think that's a thing. 15 grams of protein, 7 grams of sugar. Go check it out. Use the promo code LOCKED15. Go try it. You can try a mixed box to try any single flavor of Built Bar if you want to try them all. You can build your own box with 3 different flavors. You can just get one box with one single flavor. I did that recently. Got the Coconut Brownie Chunk and the Puff Bars, the Churro Puffs. Go check it out. Built.com. Promo code LOCKED15. All right, Isaac Harris. Let's keep playing whiteboard. The team that is panicking right now in the NBA, that may make a panic trade at the trade deadline, is 3, 2, 1. Ooh, Wizards, and I said the Utah Jazz. Isaac, the Wizards going to make a panic trade.
I mean, they started off playing pretty good at the beginning of the season. It's been pretty rough over the past month or so for them.
Real rough.
They're in this weird spot now with Brad Beal of, going to give him this, huge extension. Does he still want it? What, where's the roster? Like, yeah, you got off Russell Westbrook, and that was incredible. Like, you got pieces like Kuzma's been playing good this season. I mean, heck, what you got for Westbrook? That's a win right there.
Kuzma won them the game the other day against the Sixers. I mean, he's been good.
Yeah, it's been good. And so, like, I think that winning that trade is kind of like wearing off now. Okay, now we got to figure this crap out, and that's the team I'm watching. Of, do they do something panicky to just try to show Brad Beal? Do they want to pay Brad Beal a massive contract, in his 30s there? But I don't know what direction they're going. They could go all in over the next week and trade for like Sabonis and like somebody else and say, all right, we're going for it. Or they could like sell off pieces and get or they could swing a Bradley Beal trade, and I wouldn't be that shocked.
They already have Bradley Beal.
Like trade him. Atlanta. Philly?
I don't see a Bradley Beal trade. The rumors about the Dinwiddie stuff has been so funny to me. He's not played well, and his teammates don't like him. They want to trade Spencer Dinwiddie. Okay, well, let's see what you can do with him.
A lot of Mavs fans wanted Dinwiddie.
To me, it's Utah. I think Utah was on the brink recently of just. I mean, if you listen to David Locke on Locked on Jazz at all, he's talking about the end of an era already.
Whoa.
Like it's just going to be the end of this, Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell era in Utah. Because remember, this team was like kicking. This team was the Suns just last year, right? This team was winning 60 plus games and was absolutely killing it. And now they're, way below that and have not been playing well recently. They've had injuries, they've had all this stuff. And now Joe Ingles is going to be out for the season. They got to make some kind of move. They got to replace Joe Ingles' production because they were already pretty shallow before then. Some of their guys had not panned out for them. And so I could see them panicking and doing something because Donovan Mitchell, I think, has to make a decision about his future pretty soon here. And they have the new owner. New owners always want to make some kind of move. They got Dwayne Wade in the front office. Dwayne Wade's going to do something dumb, right? If you're a Mavs fan, listen to this. You just know it. You're just waiting for it. So Donovan Mitchell is signed for the next 3 years after this one. So he doesn't have to make a decision, but I mean, he's a star. At any point, he could say, "Hey, this is not working, and I need to get out of here." So, but yeah, I think the Jazz could make some kind of huge move because I mean, are they going to match up against the Suns, the Warriors, anybody in the I think it may be a first round exit for them again.
Yeah, one of Bogdanovich or that contract of Ingles will probably be moved for something else to get another piece in there to make a playoff run. But
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. All right. The from a Mavs angle, a team that you don't want to see make a move, that you're looking at, say, just don't make a move. Don't do something. Don't test me. Don't try it. Ready?
This one was super hard for me because it's like, do you pick a team that's in the group there with the Mavs, or do you pick okay, let's just go.
3, 2, 1. I kept with Memphis and I kept with Utah, and Isaac picked Memphis. For me, let's just stay on Utah. Don't make a move. I think if the Mavs play the Utah in the first round, I'm feeling good about that. Maybe if they do something, they change it up, then I may not feel as good about it. But Utah's a known quantity to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think naturally you don't want, any of the, Denver, Clippers, Utah. You don't want any of those guys to make any type of move. I picked Memphis because, Memphis is in this group too. They could very well play Memphis in the first round too. But I feel like Memphis is almost going to replace Atlanta for some Mavs fans as far as the comparison game. I feel like the Trae Young, Luka thing, was a natural, tie-in to, okay, let's compare the Mavs and the Hawks, different conferences, but like how they build, how their team's going, postseason success, and all this stuff. And I feel like Memphis is almost going to replace them because of the proximity, conference, everything. And they got this young guy in Josh taking the leap. Now he's in that like stratosphere, he's in that Trae Young level of, okay, he's good enough to be in that Luka Doncic type of top 30, top 20 player in the league, conversation. So how does it look on the Mavs if Memphis goes, moves forward in the playoffs? They make a move, they make an all-in move, and they start moving forward. It's like, dang, did they kind of like leapfrog us in the, up and coming young team with a young superstar? They drafted, really, really well and all of that. So I just don't want them to make a move. They're really fun. I'll root for them in the playoffs if they're not playing Dallas, but selfishly, I'm like, hey, just stand pat, guys. Don't make any type of cool move.
The team that you want in a playoff series, if you're the Mavs, if you're sitting there right now saying, okay, Suns and Warriors are 1-2. Memphis is probably going to stick in that 3 spot unless they collapse and somebody else rises up. Utah's 4, but they're beatable. Mavs 5, Nuggets 6, Timberwolves 7, Clippers 8. Lakers even 9. That whole thing could be interchangeable at some point. Which team do you want? 3, 2, 1. I did 3 in a row. Utah, and Isaac picked the Clippers. I also put Memphis on mine as well. Tell me the reason for the Clips.
I just want it. I want it. I think
you want to do it again. You want to run it back.
I do. Run it back and beat them. Mainly because I don't think Kawhi is going to be there. So.
He's not going to be able to score 50 in the playoffs and beat the Mavs with maybe the greatest playoff game he's ever played.
Somebody got really upset that we said that the other day.
Zach Lowe, maybe like the smartest basketball guy that does media, went on a whole tangent about how Kawhi may have played one of the 10 best playoff games in NBA history against the Mavericks. So if Zach Lowe can say it, I'm fine saying it.
I feel like I got like either a couple tweet thread or like a long DM about how dumb we were for saying that. Anyway. Let's exercise some demons.
If that's what we're dumb about, then hey, that's totally fine with me. We've been way dumber about other stuff before.
Exercise some demons, mainly because Kawhi's out, and even if it's healthy Paul George in this team against Luka Doncic and the Mavs, like I think they'd beat him this time around. I
picked Utah as the team because. Man,
they were my close second.
Can you imagine if the Mavs had played Utah the last 2 years instead of the Clippers the last 2 years? I think we may be looking at this team completely different, right? Because the Mavs.
That's what the front office.
This is what the front office says. I kind of agree with them on that point. I still think they would have to make. I still think they should make moves, and the team is flawed and all that kind of stuff. But I think that if they would have played a different team, it may have been a different story, and Luka may have made Western Conference Finals one of those years.
Yeah. Oh, what's the dialogue about Kristaps Porzingis if you don't play the Clippers the past 2 years? You play a guy like Rudy Gobert.
Or, the first year against Clippers, you forget he was like filling
That's
it
true,
up.
Yeah,
he was doing well, and then got hurt in game 3 or early in game 4. Like, it doesn't matter.
The bubble playoffs didn't count, so
it was last year. I also bought Memphis on there. The Mavs do have Memphis's number a little bit. right? Like the Mavs seem to beat Memphis. That doesn't always equate to playoff success when you have a team's number in the regular season, but I would feel confident going in that game. I think the Mavericks would feel confident going into that game, and I do think that matters, that the Mavs would feel pretty confident going into that one, that, okay, we can win this game, and we can win this series.
I would put Denver last on that list.
I know.
I don't want to play them. I don't want to play Jokic. I feel like Denver always,
outside of Phoenix, Golden State, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like if we're just saying that, like I mean, obviously, I think I'd put the Lakers, last on that. If Lakers just limp into the playoffs and LeBron and AD's healthy, I don't want to play LeBron and AD. I'm sorry. The refs,
I was gonna say with those refs,
the refs will not be on your side, and I don't want to play. I can't handle this podcast. Can't handle a Lakers Mavs series because I don't know if I could talk to Nick after some games, and it would. But
last one here, the team that you don't want to face in the playoffs. Actually, we just did that. I was gonna say, I feel like I just said we just answered that one without doing whiteboard.
How much time we have left? My time.
Negative 1 minute.
Okay, let me bring up something.
Hold on, no, you got to do it.
One more thing.
Nah, nailed it. So
a few days ago, Jake Fisher dropped a little nugget about Miles Turner and how Miles Turner could be back a little bit earlier than what some of us, have imagined. Mm-hmm. And how he got a new foot scan. It's looking like, after the All-Star break, maybe late February, early March at the latest. And I just want to toss it out there. I feel like a lot of people kind of just wrote off Miles Turner trade possibilities for anybody out there. We know Mark Stein reported before that even happened that the Mavericks had backed off Turner and all that. But I feel like the Turner talks could be like creeping back in over the next few days. And should Dallas still be interested, even if you don't see him until the 1st of March?
Well, the Pacers came out with this, rumor that they're selling off everybody, and then they're like, well, we're not selling Brogdon. And we're also not selling Sabonis. And it's like, okay, well, and then Turner's hurt. It's like, okay, well, who actually are you trading? Is it just Karis LeVert? It's like literally just Karis LeVert. So I don't think a Miles Turner trade is off for everybody. I think that Charlotte deal is still way on the table. I feel like that's the deal that stands out. But man, if the Mavs could turn, this deadline into CJ and Miles Turner, I'm still in on that.
That's been your thing
my thing for like 2 years now.
I've sent you some trades over the past few days that are wild.
They have like 18 players in them. The ones that Zach Lowe makes fun of.
Let me have fun.
Oh, we do have fun with it. So there you go. Fun on a Friday. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, guys. We will have a post-game show after the Sixers game tonight. If you're watching this on Friday in the U.S. Or wherever else it is Friday on today. Shout out to everybody watching this where it's Saturday for you. But we will have a game after. We have a post-game pod after the Sixers game. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Yeah.
Boom.